Let's begin the bidding on Ludwig Mies van der Rohe's The Farnsworth House. $3,500,000.
A one-of-a-kind glass house with a history of love affairs, lawsuits, and natural disasters. Its future rests on the outcome of this high-stakes auction.
$3,700,000, $3,800,000.
This was a significant piece of architecture. It had to be saved.
$6 million.
It's a complete and total architectural philosophy distilled into one beautiful little box.
What makes this piece of architecture such a hot commodity? And why would these people stake their entire organization on saving it? Wow. Let's go there and see for ourselves. The Farnsworth House is one of only 3 single-family homes in the United States by renowned German architect Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. Mies, as he's usually referred to, was already nearing legendary status when he fled Nazi Germany for the U.S. in 1938. A one-time director of the celebrated Bauhaus Architecture School, Mies is widely acknowledged as the founder of the glass and steel modernist style. Some 60 miles southwest of Chicago, the Farnsworth House is nestled along the banks of the Fox River in Plano, Illinois.
The Farnsworth House is considered to be one of the most celebrated examples of modernist domestic architecture.
I begin my visit with a guided tour.
There it is.
Wow.
Everyone goes, ah.
In designing a simple open space with no decoration, Mies said he was trying to create almost nothing. Or in German, beinahe nichts.
It's very important to keep in mind this house was designed as a weekend home only to be used by one individual.
Thank you.
That individual was Mies's client, Dr. Edith Farnsworth. Their story begins in downtown Chicago in 1945. Dr. Farnsworth, a well-to-do kidney specialist, had just bought herself a chunk of land along the Fox River. 42 and single, she was looking for an architect to help her build a small weekend getaway there. But some say her interest in Mies van der Rohe went beyond architecture. To get the real story on Mies and Edith, I talked to June Finfer, who wrote a play about their relationship.
So, how did they meet?
Mies van der Rohe and Edith Farnsworth met at a small dinner party, and I suspect that she arranged to meet him.
At dinner, Edith found herself intrigued with the 59-year-old architectural heavyweight sitting silently across from her.
So she's having dinner with this guy, and she's telling him all about this beautiful property with the great trees and the birds and the river, and he doesn't say a word. She didn't know if he spoke English. But then when she said, "Do you know someone who could design a house for me?" he very much surprised her by saying, "I could do it myself."
For a woman who described herself as bored and lonely, the chance to work with a charismatic man like Mies van der Rohe was irresistible.
She just was overwhelmed with the possibilities, with his personality, and with the potential to create, as she said, something that would advance the art of architecture.
And advance it they did. Mies not only took the job, he decided to use the opportunity to do something he'd never done before.
The two of them came out here to this area, and he told her that in view of the country around here, which he found quite lovely, he thought it would be a great idea to do a house through which you could see the nature around you. And the glass house was the consequence.
A glass house. It would be a first, but why not? What better way for Edith to take in the beauty of her surroundings?
When you're inside, It's like you're outside because you're looking through the glass and you're seeing these trees and you're seeing the river and you're seeing the sky. It's like there's no separation.
The entire structure is held up by just 8 steel I-beams. A terrace extends from the west end, creating a link from the inside to the outside.
So, what's the philosophy behind this big, empty, open space?
Less is more. Less intrusion inside. He was fascinated by spaces in which you could do just about anything.
Its architecture reduced to its barest minimum. A steel-framed slab of concrete for the roof, a thin membrane of glass for the walls, and another slab of concrete covered in heated travertine marble for the floor. In the center, a core made of rare Primavera wood houses 2 bathrooms, a kitchen, and a utility room. A single tube containing all of the utilities descends from the home's center into the ground. And that's it. Mies even anticipated the Fox River's annual spring swell. He elevated the house more than 5 feet above the ground. As the blueprint evolved, so did the partnership between the married architect who'd left his family years earlier and his single client. Soon, it became more than just a business arrangement.
There's no real tactful way to ask this question. Do you think they had a love affair?
Oh, I think so. What is more exciting than to have someone who is becoming world-renowned for his work, and he's interested in you? And you are making it possible for him to create something that has never been created before.
Edith tucked handwritten notes into envelopes along with her checks to Mies. One such missive reads, "Dear Mies, it is impossible to pay in money for what is made by heart and soul. Such work one can only recognize and cherish with love and respect."
He was, after all, a man of substance. He was a very attractive man. She was transfixed by him.
While the relationship flourished, word traveled of the incredible feat Mies van der Rohe was undertaking along the Fox River.
This house became so famous, even while it was under construction. People kept coming around, students and architects and visitors.
To many of these visitors, the Farnsworth house seemed like the perfect distillation of modernist architecture.
You have a beautiful context and a house in which Mies used all of his ability with the materials that he was so good at, namely steel and glass.
But as with any construction project, there were delays. Edith started to get impatient, and she wasn't exactly thrilled by the rapidly rising costs.
She had formed the impression that the building would be built for X amount of dollars, and that amount went continually up, and she became more and more irritated with Mies.
Their personal relationship started to deteriorate. Not only was Edith irritated with Mies, she was quickly becoming disillusioned with his big ideas about pure architecture.
She started thinking about practical things and started saying, I can't even put a garbage can by the kitchen sink because you can see it from the outside. Where am I going to hang my clothes? There's no closet here. And he says, what do you need a closet for? It's a weekend house. I said, well, I need someplace to put my clothes.